Hey everyone, Chrissy with Clutter Reduction. We are heading home right now from a side job we just wrapped up. It was basically just loading some of the bigger pieces of a house into a pod. The husband had already done all the small little boxes and whatnot. And then we brought down a king bed with an adjustable frame, which you can just kind of fold in half, take the legs off. And then we brought down a corner desk. We brought down a Nordic treadmill, which was actually kind of a more complicated piece, especially when nothing is ever wrapped, because like metal on drywall, metal is always going to win. So I wrapped off the bottom with my own blanket just to get it downstairs in case we had to set it down. I don't want anything to scratch, but they didn't make any attempts to do it themselves, which is always annoying because now you have to be extra careful. Like, you don't want to scratch anything up even if it's the customer's fault, you know. It's just pride in the job. So that was a little tricky, but we got it done pretty well. I told her I can help you guys out. I'm gonna do a 2-hour minimum at a 2-person rate, and we were pretty much done in a little over an hour, but we had to wait for the rain a couple of times. So overall, came out pretty well profit-wise for the 2 hours, including paying out a helper. But jobs like that, I mean, I don't make it a habit to do them too often. I don't like to do like 6, 7, 8 hour jobs, because if I do have a junk job come in, you know, that's going to kill out the majority of my day. If I go out and do a quick hour, 2, 3 hour job, I can do that in the morning, be done by noon. I have the whole day ahead of me for a junk job to come in where I can go out and handle both at once. So I do these from time to time just to make a little extra side money when things are a little bit slower, but I try not to book too much of them at once, because I might be slow for a couple of days, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be slow all week. That doesn't mean I'm going to be slow next week. So I try not to take stuff too far in advance or try to stack too many jobs at once, because my junk removal business is always going to come first. You know, that's like long-term money that I'm trying to invest time into. So for me, you know, every client that I have to turn away because I booked a little side job, that client could be a repeat client in the future, and that could be a big job. Who knows? You know, that could be your referral to a realtor that they work with when they're moving. That could be a positive review that could add to my other positive reviews, which, you know, accumulation wise looks really good for a business. You know, all of those things matter. So I always try to do junk jobs first, and, you know, I try to do the little side jobs if I need the money myself, because I only pay myself a percentage of the business. So, you know, there's a lot more expenses involved, but the business will always come first. And I've just kind of learned to, you know, take what you can really handle in a timely manner. But speaking of side jobs, there's nothing stopping you guys from going out and doing side jobs if your business is a little slow. And you can always try to link your business into it somehow. So for example, if a senior is commenting on Facebook saying, hey, I have this, you know, little shrub tree in my backyard, I kind of want to get it removed. I don't want to pay a big company to come out and do anything crazy. I just need it kind of cleaned up a little. I mean, if you got a chainsaw or a sawzall, you could do that yourself. I've cut down a tree in my own yard before with the sawzall. It wasn't a huge oak tree. It was like a little dinky thing, like the thickest branch is like this big. Sawzall went right through it, and I got plenty of blades. So, you know, you could always say, yeah, you know, I can come out and, you know, I can, I'll cut it down and then I can put it out to your curb. Or if your neighborhood's a little strict, I can haul those away for an extra fee. And then just like that, you do junk removal. And then you can leave them with your card in case they have anything in the future. Maybe she wants to get a new couch soon and she needs to get rid of the old one. She's already calling you for a little tree. She's definitely going to call you for a couch. You know, something else you could do is with the moving, if anyone's like, yeah, you know, we just need help moving something around, or if they're having renovations done, maybe they just need to move all the furniture from one room to another. You know, that's pretty easy stuff when you just have to go down a hallway. You know, plop everything on a dolly, put it on a pad, and just slide it throughout the house. You know, that's really easy work. But while you're there, let them know, hey, you know, like we do this little moving stuff from time to time, but our bread and butter is junk removal. If you ever need to get rid of any of the stuff, or when you have renovations done, if the contractors don't take the debris, we can haul that stuff away for you. Here's my information. And just like that, you set yourself up for an opportunity in the future. So don't be afraid to take on these side jobs, especially when things get slow. Honestly, like, when things get slow, my first priority is to do side jobs to make my own money, and I'll leave the money in the business to cover bills. I don't know if that's the best way to do things, but that's how I do it. If I'm not seeing a surplus in finances with the junk removal, my first instinct is, all right, let me go pick up a couple of side jobs so I can pay myself. And instead of paying myself that percentage of each job, I'll leave it in the business. And just, it just stays there. And then maybe like in the future, if I have a good surplus of a month, I'll go back and pull out that money, and I'll just write down in my, little receipt book, that was reimbursement for these other jobs that I didn't take income on. And then that way it still evens out at the end of the year, and you still get paid one way or another. But in the time being, it's like budgeting when you're when money's real tight. If you don't have a savings already built, if you need to budget, you're gonna avoid spending extra money on certain things and focus on the essentials, and then later on you can reimburse yourself. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not a financial advisor. That's just something that I do personally. I don't know, but there's a lot of things you could do out there. I mean, at the end of the day, there's always scrapping. If you got a pickup truck or a trailer with their junk removal, go out and do scrapping. Go pick up shit for free. I don't know. Go pick it up in your neighborhood. Go drive around the curbs. Driving around the city, I notice metal on the side of the road all the time. I'm not going to stop and pick it up because I'm not that desperate for it, but if I needed to, I would. We've done dumpster diving. There's a guy on YouTube I was watching. What was it? Shit, I haven't watched him in a while. Mike the Scrapper. He does dumpster diving, and he makes he's a whole ass living, full-time job off of scrapping. And he's like real intricate. He'll break everything down. I don't go crazy with that. But we've done that a couple of times just for fun. We'll just go to, like, when they're building a new store, they're renovating a new store, they have all this crap in the back of the dumpster. I'm not going in the dumpster picking through stuff, but like we'll just skim off things from the top and just pull things out, or like someone will throw a bunch of like metal cabinetry things next to the dumpster. We'll just go grab those and throw them in the truck. It saves some volume on a dumpster, and we can make a little bit of money off of it. So if you don't have junk removal to bring in metal, you can always go do it yourself. And if you got the time, sit there and strip wire. Copper wire gets you a decent amount of money. You just got to sit there and be patient with it if you don't have a machine. Finding brass knobs, I was doing that for a while. Anytime we got a dresser off of a job, if it wasn't like donatable, I would sit there and unscrew all the knobs or handles if they were made out of brass, because brass is kind of heavy and those knobs add up. You get a little gallon bag and you fill it up with brass. That thing weighs like 10 pounds. That's 10 pounds of brass. Brass pays more than standard iron and steel do. So, it's little simple things like that. You go cut off all the wires off of appliances that are trash, try to resell more stuff. If you have any kind of storage space in your house or in your backyard or in a shed, in a porch, store a couple of things that you're not really in a rush to get rid of, that aren't going to get damaged with the weather. And then when things start to slow down, go clean them up, take pictures and post them on Facebook, post them on OfferUp, Craigslist, whatever. Try to sell them for a few bucks. We were doing, in the beginning of the year, my goal was to do $2,000 a month in resell alone, just reselling. And we definitely could have done more if we had more time, but I used it as a supplement. So when I had the time available, I was posting more than often. And my fiance does stuff on Poshmark if it's like clothing related or jewelry. We'll do furniture and stuff on Facebook. I'll bring in games at GameStop, even though you're getting like, a small percentage, it's still something. We know someone who buys golf clubs. We know somebody who buys Legos. We know people who buy trading cards. We know people who buy books if they're like historical, or if they're like trending, they'll buy them and they sell them on their own. So there's plenty of things out there you could do. You could have a garage sale if you have a bunch of small stuff. Like, you can always make money and you can always manage to find a way to intertwine it with your junk removal business. So just something to keep in mind. You know, I know a lot of people are slow these last couple of months. This whole year, I think it's been really tricky for a lot of people. Like, you have guys out there that are just busy every single day for weeks and weeks in advance, and that's fucking awesome. You know, like, I'm not, you know, I'm not envy about that or anything. I think that's great. You know, kudos to you. And then I know people who, they work like 1 day a week and they advertise every single fucking day. You know, and I don't know. I think sometimes it's bad luck. It's just timing. I don't know what it is, but I get that too. I go days without having a job, and I'll usually use that time to get stuff done around the house, or I'll push for the resale. You know, I'm pushing for marketing as much as I can on my own time, or maybe I'll go out and do marketing, or I'll go comment and do some side jobs. I'll reach out to past clients we've done a lot of repetitive work for and just check in to see if they have anything going on this week. You know, sometimes I'll just be like, hey, I'm gonna be up in your area these next couple of days. If you guys need us to come by and grab anything, that's kind of a simple process, you know? So there's always opportunities out there, and you know, I'm not slammed every day. People think I'm just busy all the time. I'm like, I don't know where you guys get those ideas from. You can track my videos. You can see where I'm really busy, because I'll put out like 5 or 6 videos all revolved around like doing cleanouts and stuff. And then like you'll notice I start to trickle down. That's usually either A, I don't have a lot of big jobs going on that are worth recording, or B, there are a bunch of like one-off jobs that they're just like, it's like a quick 250 here, a quick 300 here, a quick 125 here. Like, they're just small jobs that's just like not worth it. So there's something to keep in mind. You know, I know people who have been in business for 10 plus years and they go a couple of days without jobs. And then I know people who, they don't even have a business and they just do this shit on the side, and they're booked out for like 3 weeks. Every single day they have something booked up. And this is like $500 to $1,000+ a day. And they don't even have a business. They just go on Facebook, they go on Nextdoor and advertise. You know, whether you're doing moving, junk removal, handyman work, landscaping, pressure washing, there's 1,000 things you can do, and everyone's out there trying to make their own money. So, you know, there's always going to be some kind of saturation. Everyone's always going to be a little bit cheaper. So you really just gotta play the game and fight your battles. But, you know, I find that the first thing people stress out about is money. And it's one thing for the business not to make money, but it's another thing if you aren't making money either. And, you know, if you have a family to provide for, you have kids, you know, you have big bills and you don't make a lot of money to cover those, you know, you start to get stressed really fast, and that's usually where you start to make mistakes and you start to get desperate and you start lowballing your jobs, and, you know, it's a continuous cycle of just hurting you. So I at least find it easier to supplement that with a quick job that isn't business related and just makes me some side money. So that's one less thing to stress about, you know, and the business will usually take care of itself unless you're just like dead. And I've had some dead periods. I think the longest I've ever gone without a job, once I went full time, was 11 days or 13 days. Longest time I've gone without a job. I had a couple of bookings and they canceled, and it was just a slow period. You know what I did? I didn't touch anything with the business. I left the money where it's at in the account. I went out and did a bunch of side jobs to make my own money, and everything ended up being fine. The next week I picked back up. I think the following month I had a new record high and everything was okay. And then this year, I think I had a 9-day period with no jobs. I had a couple of calls coming in, but people were booking like later in the month. I had some people calling, asking me like, oh, how much to come by and pick up this and pick up that? I'm like, all right, well, you know, that's a minimum pickup. This is how much it's gonna be. And they're like, all right, I'm gonna try somebody else. Never heard from them again. You know, and it's tough to be like, I don't like, you want to get desperate because you don't have a job and you're like, well, shit, like I don't want to have a 0 income week. Like, all right, I'll come by and pick that up for, you know, half of what I normally do. You know, you just gotta, you got to make a decision in those moments. Do you want to be super cheap and go pick that up, or do you want to lowball yourself? At the end of the day, you got to keep in mind you may be breaking even on some of these jobs, and if you're doing that, you're just, the only thing you may get out of it is a positive review, maybe a referral, maybe that person uses you in the future, and just let them know, hey, I was in a tough spot and I gave you a discount. Just being honest here. In the future, this is my normal pricing, which that's kind of a hard thing to let people know about, because I don't know, it's inconsistent. So you gotta take things with a grain of salt. It's your call at the end of the day, what you do, what you don't do. Nobody makes the rules for you, but that's just something I found to make things a little easier, is to go find other ways to make money, so you're not only reliant on one income. And that income is usually something that is a mixture of you putting in the work to bring in the jobs and the economy. And you can't really predict the economy, so it usually comes down to you, and you don't control everything, so you gotta be careful about those things. So just wanted to share that information. But we're gonna spend the rest of the day cleaning up the garage and posting some stuff on Facebook from the last couple of jobs we've done. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing a job for a VP client, and then we have something booked up for the next 6 days. So nothing huge, but work is work. So I'll take it. July was despite being out of town for 6 days for my bachelor party, and like the first week was really slow, July ended up being like a good average month for us. August is off to a good start. For the first 3 days, I'm at a good average for the week so far. So I think we'll be all right for August. And then come September, our game is to go, or our goal is to just like power down on stuff, because my fiance is going to be joining me full time. So now we're putting 2 incomes into one business. So everything I just mentioned, getting stressed out about when it's just you, now we have 2 incomes and a mortgage. So there's gonna be no time for messing around when that comes. But we'll figure it out. And I hope everybody else is staying busy, and I hope you also will figure it out. So until then, comment down what kind of side jobs you like to do, or how you like to make money outside of business if things slow down.